And you are good to go.
Thank you. The first item would be approval of the minutes of September 13th.
Okay,
Any comments?
I make a motion to approve them.
I make a motion to second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Since there's no mayor present at the moment, we can have Andrea has updates.
Hi, good afternoon to everybody. I just have a few updates. I wanted to let you know that the Arbor Fest delivery is scheduled from Sue Massey at Massey Sales and on the 28th, Friday the 28th in the morning.
Great.
And the freight charge is going to be $200, so you know that. She had been trying to get another order to combine with yours because you all ordered less trees than you have been in the past, but she wasn't able to do that. So she tried to just basically just try to cover her costs going down to Tennessee to get the trees.
Sure.
Also, I noticed that, and you've probably seen it, one of the trees in Cali Park that was planted a year or so ago, 2 years ago, evidently died and it's been cut down. I didn't realize that. I'm not sure what happened to it, but I wanted to see if the board wants to replace that tree maybe this fall. I don't know if you're interested in doing that. I could get you a price. I don't have the price with me. I was thinking maybe instead of a sweet gum, we'd just put another Chinese elm there. So it's kind of the tree to the left of the area where the sign is and the trees and so forth are. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is for the next meeting, when you're out and about in the city, there's 2 blue spruces that probably should be removed. One of them is they're declining due to that disease problem that the spruces get. One of them is in the entrance median to the estate section of Hunting Creek on west off Covered Bridge. That entrance median there. And then there's another one that I wanted to check with you on. I think I mentioned it at a previous meeting, but I can't remember if the board voted to remove it. It's another bigger blue spruce in the entrance median on Chestnut Hill Drive. Does anybody remember that one? I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know if that sounds familiar. If it doesn't, then maybe you could look at those and we could discuss it at the next meeting.
Okay,
Right. They're both in decline, but not dead, you're saying, right?
Right, but they look pretty bad. The one, and I thought I had mentioned the one on Chestnut Hill Drive before, but if I didn't, now you have that information, so.
Okay.
And I also contacted Philip Robertson today, as a matter of fact, with LG&E about, I see that LG&E hasn't come back and removed the 2 trees that they said they would, the one they damaged when they took the big oak out, which was a hackberry. And the other one was a maple that's been retopped again under the wires next to Little Hunting Creek Park and the new construction. I believe last month you voted to have him do that, and they must be behind, but I haven't heard back from him yet, but I did contact him. So I think that's all for other than our discussions later about the different agenda items.
Okay, going back to Colleague Park, you reported that the tree has died and apparently been removed there,
Right.
and you're recommending putting another tree there.
In that area, yeah, there's still a
Yeah.
little stump of that tree there. I'm assuming one of Ron's guys maybe cut it, he might have had them cut it down. I'm not sure. I don't know what happened to it specifically. With parts of Hunting Creek Drive being closed on and off, I haven't,
Been up there, right?
hadn't seen it for, I don't know, a month or so, probably.
Andrea, are we getting the trees that you mentioned before, the Coosa dogwood, the trident maple? Is that written in stone now?
Yes,
Oh, good. Okay.
yeah, that was what was ordered from, they're scheduled to be delivered on the 28th.
I make a motion to get a tree to replace the dead one in Cali Park.
Okay. I second it.
So, okay. The cost would probably run around $300 when it's planted, something like that. That's an
I
average.
think it'll be, yeah, I think it would end up being less than that. But I'll have to, I was thinking about planting another Chinese elm because they're a little bit, they're pretty hard. I mean, they withstand a lot of different stress conditions a little bit better, like
Yeah.
drought and, heavy clay soils and all that good stuff.
That sounds like
I'll send y'all, I'll get a price and send you the price. Yeah, I want to say it's going to be either 135 or around 150 for the tree.
Have we thought about,
I was including the planting, yeah.
And then the
Andrea.
planting, I think, is 115.
Okay,
So maybe while we're talking during the meeting, I can look it up real quick, the price, the exact price.
I mean, why don't we say not to exceed $300?
Does that include what we might need for ongoing maintenance, the watering fees, et cetera?
and tree guard.
Tree guard?
Oh, it would just include, well, we'd have to add the tree guard.
that.
Now that you've approved it, we can finalize the price. I can't give you the exact price right this minute.
Sure, I don't think it's necessary, but
I think we should remember that we always have a couple trees left over after Oktoberfest or Arborfest. We could use one of those.
They're going to be
Okay.
awfully little.
We used to start with 100 trees. This year we're getting 45, so we might not be in the leftover category. And I mean, those are $19 trees that, and then versus a 2-inch tree that looks like a tree. And in 2 years, it really looks like a tree. The Arborfest tree I got maybe 10 years ago, it looks like a tree now. So anyway, why don't we go in? We finally got some trees in Cali Park. You know what an effort it was to get those approved. So
We should ask Herb what he considers a tree. A tree.
I think you'd be better off putting something like a Chinese elm in there because it's going to withstand those tough conditions a little bit better, honestly.
That sounds great.
so well, let's Herb, you want to remake the motion to authorize acquisition of a Chinese elm for Colleague Park?
yeah, okay, I do. How about I make a motion that the tree be like 2-inch caliber, Chinese elm, durable that likes Cali Park.
Not to exceed $300.
Okay, not this. How about 325? We need to put a guard on it too.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I second
All in
it.
favor? Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Here's my tree, my $19 tree. It doesn't show. I can't see it.
Okay, I looked up the tree price. It's $138 is the wholesale price for a 2-inch Chinese elm. So, and I don't remember how much the tree guards are, but we can figure that out.
You only came to 253 if it's 115 to plant it. Okay. so we're-
253, correct.
Yeah,
Come on, guys. This is the first tree we've approved this year.
very good.
Let's don't sit there and worry about nickels.
That's right.
That's
We
good.
voted on
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Andrea, I had a totally unrelated question. One of the residents picked up our prospect tree guide, which is great, and then he saw that we had not banned the planting of cottonwoods. You know, we have trees not authorized for planting,
Right.
and do you have a recommendation about planting cottonwoods?
Well, when that came out, when we did that, that wasn't really an issue. It's becoming more of an issue, I guess, now with cottonwoods. Certainly we can revise the city's online list. I'm not really sure why.
What's
he
wrong
said
with
that.
cottonwoods?
I'm not sure. I've heard that, but I don't.
People they get allergic to them. All that stuff
Oh.
going around, I've heard.
Oh, I see.
I don't know that it's, I haven't seen it on that many banned lists, banned tree lists, but,
You gotta remember, Daniel Boone was the one that helped us on that original list.
Daniel Boone.
So are we gonna leave that as an open issue, or the next time the?
we
Personal
can
tree-
take it, Ron could, when he would have to update that list. He could take it off if you want to vote to remove it. Honestly, I don't think anybody's really going to go out and get a cottonwood unless they dig it out of the woods somewhere. It's not like
Right,
they can
yeah.
plant it and get it from a nursery or anywhere else. So it probably could be updated. We could just take it off. I don't know if you want to it's not on the recommended tree list for sure. It just
Right.
isn't added to the list of trees recommended
Don't
not to
plant,
plant.
yes.
I just don't, I think probably I never would thought to put it on there, but just because I don't think too many people go around planting
It's
cotton.
very uncommon, right, to be planting one. But let's leave it as an action for the update that we would add the cottonwoods to the do not plant list. Okay.
Okay.
I see Sylvia's joined us. Welcome, Sylvia. Great.
Hi, I was here the entire time. I just had my phone on mute, my
Okay.
computer on mute.
Anyhow, great to see you. The next item on the agenda was discussion of the budget,
Okay.
and the actual monies remaining was as of the 30th of September. I got these from our good bookkeeper. For Arborfest, 1650. How much are we spending on those 45 trees we ordered, plus the $200?
What's the guards?
Let's see.
I sent that to you all. Let me look it up again.
I have the tree list. It doesn't have any price on it.
I'll tell you in a second, Lee. If you
Okay.
Just give me a second.
Yeah, sure.
They were 20. Let's see. I believe they were $20 a tree, and you ordered
45 of them.
45 trees. That's one number I didn't have ready for you.
Well, that'd be $900. That not counting the 200 for delivery.
Yeah. I'll look it up while we're talking so I don't hold you up.
Sure, that's fine. And then everybody has a copy of these numbers, and it appears that actually the only charge has been made tree maintenance. And I think that's largely for watering, but also could include some removals. If Ron is on the call, he could tell us if there are actually removal costs in that number. Must not be here.
I know he talked about it the last meeting, or maybe when we met there, that there was a $7,000 tree they had to remove. So a big difficult tree that.
Yes,
Money. I think we've had 3 waterings, and the waterings run a little shy of $1,000.
yes.
So,
We did that twice,
well, I think we authorized a
You
third.
might have done it 4 times.
4 times in this budget cycle.
Well,
That would be from the 1st of July.
3 or 4, we'd have to look that up, but the Arborfest trees, I think, are 1,100 with the freight.
Okay, yeah, that's consistent with what you said.
But I mean, the bookkeeper, I mean, they should have those totals for the watering. I mean,
Yeah, probably.
you should be able to look that up.
Look
Or
that up.
get those numbers. I mean, they just did one Monday, so they probably haven't gotten invoiced
I
yet.
haven't got that bill yet, but
Right.
These numbers are all of the 30th September. I think what we're done or might recommend that when the council revises the budget, it will be probably very desirable to increase the maintenance allowance. The rest of it, we're well within probably what's going to happen. But the tree removals is a little bit unpredictable and can be.
Well, we've had an
quite
extremely dry period, so
Yes.
trees got more stressed out. So I think you're 100% correct in doing that, thinking
Right.
that.
Yes, there was an article in the Courier Journal about a week ago about how the drought was affecting Kentucky.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I mean, this is the second drought we've had this summer into fall, so it's going to have a lasting effect, unfortunately.
okay, does anyone have any comment about the budget numbers?
Well, we know at some time, we've already said to parks that we're willing to fund some trees in the new Little Honey Creek Park. So at some time, I'm gonna be very optimistic that there's gonna be approval. So there'll be some monies coming out of the tree plan. I mean, at our last meeting, we only requested 5 trees.
Yeah, that's another item, a little further down. Herb, just hold on a minute on that.
Yeah, I'm just telling you that maybe, these numbers won't stay so stationary.
Oh,
I mean, the budget numbers will, but the remaining amounts won't. Excuse me.
right, yes, we plant, we'll spend, right? The next item on the agenda was the Arbor Fest, and if anything that needs to be done to prepare for it, we're expecting Matt Sullivan from Save a Tree, used to be Greenhaven, will be present. And last year he was there and he did a great job. We'll need a few tables, maybe to display. Anything else?
When do you want the sign put out about announcing Arborfest?
Well, that's a good question, Connie. At least a week in advance.
Well, the weekend before?
Yeah, the weekend before would be great. It's
Okay,
the actual Arbor Fest is the last Saturday in
Okay.
October.
yeah. Okay, so like the 23rd or the 22nd or?
Yeah, I don't have the calendar right here in front of me, but either one of those would be fine.
Okay, great.
Right.
I would say the last few years, we've also picked up one of those big jugs of coffee and some donuts to have available. Do we still want to do that?
I think that's a good idea, Linda.
Okay,
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Get it from Starbucks?
that's what I did before. I put the order
Yeah.
in the day before, told them when I needed it, and it was very painless.
Yeah, I've done that too. It's a good thing, and it's less fuss and muss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something, it might be good if you've seen a new neighbor in your neighborhood, is to actually knock on the door and tell them about the Arbor Fest. they might be interested in receiving a tree. Good way to meet a neighbor too.
Yeah, and I
Mm.
have sent out notes to my HOA that the event was happening because not everybody gets the city email.
Well, what's going on besides our tree giveaway this year? Are
There-
we,
Book
There's
sale.
a library
sale.
sale.
libraries having a sale?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, that's
Friday and
good.
Saturday.
And no pumpkin carving or anything like that? Just the book sale?
I don't know of anything else.
Of course, the playground will probably be done, right?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes. This is a big week there this week. It's going to be paving. It's going to happen Friday, the paving work for the parking.
We're down now at Little Hunting Creek Park. We're glad to hear about the paving. Andrea mentioned the tree removals be done by G&E.
Well, the ash and the red bud are separately.
They're
They're,
separate.
yeah,
I think
that would have to be done by the city.
we asked for that last time, I believe.
I think you approved that,
Yes,
I don't have, right?
We did, right.
Yeah,
pretty
so I don't know where Ron might be on that subject. I guess we
I'll-
should,
One thing that being there was right. We have the one red bud, existing red bud, that goes up and then turns off at a 90, 40, 90
right,
degree.
that's the one we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way to healthily modify that tree that we don't actually have to take that out?
No, it's got decay all up and down the trunk, Herb.
Okay.
I mean, not only has it got that crook in it or that severe lean, and then it's also had root damage from the pavilion being built right next to it. So it's going to be a short timer, I believe.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Do you want to follow up with Ron on those two trees, or just to avoid multiple people communicating, or I can do it, whatever you say.
No, I can do it. But you mentioned two. Maybe I was daydreaming. I know the red, but what's the other one?
The ash tree that is like more across from the end of the parking lot, sort of.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah.
ash tree there that,
Yeah. Okay. I'll do it.
it's had a lot of root damage. That's why I'm suggesting before the whole area gets finished that, we take it out so you don't have a nice new area and then have the tree die next spring or something.
There was some, I would say confusion, but conflict between the number of trees to be planted. Herb, you had one number. I think Andrew had another number.
Well, you're right. I failed to mention the memorial tree, which is, I think, is online to be ordered. We know that one got approved.
Yeah, so we
I
have the
haven't
money.
been given any approval to order that yet. So if you want,
I'd hold until hopefully we can get the other one. I really do think in a very short period of time, I think the mayor will have a better attitude about approving some trees in Little Honey Creek Park. So it'd be rather than order one tree, it'd be ordering 6.
Yeah, 6 total, including the memorial tree.
weren't there 10 altogether or so though? Or
Well, we started
did
with
it end up
10.
being 6? It was 6, I guess.
Well, no, you're right. We started with 10, but the bur oak, we're gonna wait till spring. We're gonna wait till maybe there's a better attitude about planting trees in the park, but we at least we've honed it down. We thought 6 would at least be acceptable, but
I
so
see. Well, you'll have to
if we
give me
get
the
to
list.
6, then
whenever.
spring is gonna be different. We know it's gonna be different.
Right.
Because it's gonna rain some.
Unless there's a huge push from
Promise.
the widow of the lady that for Fox Harbor,
Miss
I forgot
Davis.
her name, but to plant that this fall. If you're gonna plant the bur oak in the spring, or you think you can get approval to plant it, bur oaks, you know, there's some indication that some of the white oak family, which that Jordan Street oak is now, might be, since it's a memorial tree, to be a little less, to eliminate the possibilities of the winter being any type of an issue. Some trees are what they call a fall dig risk, which means they're better planted in the spring, they transplant better. You know, for years in this industry, we've planted a lot of these white oaks in the fall most of the time. I've never had a problem with it, period. But the Abrams Nursery, the owner of Abrams Nursery, is now calling them a little bit of a fall dig risk. So I don't know if she has a particular, you know, I know she wants to plant a tree in honor of her husband, I guess, but if it could be planted in the spring, it might be a little bit better. But we could plant it. I did say we could plant it in the fall, but I'm just trying to eliminate all risks since it's a, you know, in honor of somebody.
Yeah.
So you're recommending really delaying planting that oak?
Maybe,
So-
well, you know, since the bur oak is kind of on hold right now. If you thought there was a chance the bur oak and the other oak, if she would be willing to wait till spring, I just, you know, I'm just saying that might be a little bit better for her. I don't know. I mean, if I was doing it at my house, I'd plant it this fall, but since she's asking for a memorial tree, I'm just saying, you know, possibly waiting till spring.
Just to clarify, are we talking about two different oaks or one oak?
No. Yeah, we're talking about two different ones. So, yeah, the bur oak, we definitely were going to hold off. That goes out. That's between the pavilion and US 42, sort of.
Yeah.
But
The other oak, you showed me the literature on it.
It was on the right of the sidewalk when you walk from the parking lot to the
Yeah.
And very close to the, very close to the playground and where picnic tables would be.
Can you see the drawing?
not very clearly.
Well, that's good.
That circle area with the walking path. It's
Yeah,
on-
you nailed it, to the right of the walking path. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
We're
know,
good. And that's the memorial tree then.
yes.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But it's not a bur oak or is
No,
it?
that's called a Jordan Street oak. It's a
Yeah,
type of.
that's what I
maple.
thought. Yeah.
Can we act like we didn't hear Andrea say anything about it's a risk?
That's fine.
Maybe fall risk. Can we act like we didn't hear that?
I just didn't know if it was a big deal to that person or not, so I'm just mentioning it. That's
we're-
fine. I would,
We're
I
gonna,
think
we're
you're
gonna baby that tree to make sure it's okay.
right. That sounds good.
So we're going to plant this fall the Jordan Street oak and 5 other trees.
If the mayor, now the 5 other trees, we don't have approval now. As of this date, October 11th, we don't have approval,
Yes.
but the memorial tree, that's our say so. It didn't cost the city 1 penny.
No, it didn't.
Should
Right,
we
just-
order that tree or wait for the other trees maybe?
I'd ask you to wait, because I really do think within a week, I really think next Monday, we're gonna get approval of the other 5 trees. Huh?
Okay. Let's leave it that way. Okay.
Yep.
And you
And
have
if you want me to be responsible, I'll be the first to, I mean, I'll be the one responsible to let everybody know that it got approved, and let's get them ordered.
very good.
Yeah. If I'm nervous about it, I'll get Connie to help me.
That's great.
Just so you remember your place, Herb.
I'm your assistant on this.
Exactly.
Okay, Herb, you have the ball on the Hunting Creek Park. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. The next item is request we had from property owner at 5604 Timber Ridge.
We can't hear you.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
We had a request from property owner 5604 Timber Ridge to authorize removal of a large oak that's in her front yard. I visited the site, maybe others did also. That oak didn't look that bad to me. The comment she made is that, without saying where, she said she would replace it with two other trees, which sounds very nice. Andrew, you had a comment on that memorial, or not that big oak.
Well, I mean, the tree, it's going to be a very large oak, maybe for her front yard. She may think that. She thinks it has a lot of issues. The main thing that I noticed was it has a little bit of, a little bit of dieback showing up in the upper portion of the canopy. And the backside of the trunk is beginning to show some signs of decay, just a small line of decay. Overall, the tree looks pretty good. But I personally don't think we should. I mean, she basically came to the board first, and before she removed it. So I don't think we should prevent her from removing something on private property, especially if she is going to plant at least another tree and maybe two more trees. That would be my thought.
I think that's a good thought.
That's a good
Yeah,
thought.
I did visit the tree. It's enormous tree. It takes over that yard, and
Right.
so
It's a shame she wants to cut it down,
but she'll replace it with two other trees.
yeah,
I'll
little skinny
I'll talk
ones
with her.
that aren't proper trees.
I'll talk with her and ask her about the planting the two trees, and if she commits to that, then we can write her a letter authorizing the removal of the oak. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. The next item is Bradford Piers and Landing. This, Andrea, you brought this issue up.
Yes, I don't know how familiar you are with all the Bradford pears that are planted between the sidewalk and the street in one section of the landings on Timber Wood Drive. I guess the original developer maybe planted those as street trees back 20, 30 years ago. That didn't seem like such a bad idea until now. We know that Bradford pears kind of self-destruct when they get to be about 18, 20 years old. And the majority of those trees are in a pretty sharp decline. If you've been seen them at all, they have a lot of dead branches. It's obvious some of them have been pruned to try to cut out dead branches or dangerous branches. They're just not in very good health. And I was suggesting to Lee that maybe the board think about, I don't know if it would be a good idea to write the HOA. Do they have an HOA there? I wasn't sure if they do. But if they do, write their HOA president maybe a kind of an informational letter just saying that we've noticed that they have a lot of these Bradford pears between the sidewalk and the street that are declining, and many of them are in pretty bad shape, and want to kind of put them on notice about that, and then say that you have a canopy program that will be available in the spring, and they may want, that might be something they want to make their association members aware of, or you can make the president aware of at that time, and maybe people can take advantage of, a more cost-effective way to replace trees over there.
That's a great idea.
I
I'll
mean, at
find out
some
if they
point,
have
we're
any.
gonna have to go in and start saying, writing them letters about
Mhm.
removing their trees, but there's so many of them that are in bad shape that I thought maybe we should start on a positive note or try to be positive about it and then give them a way to replace some of those trees first.
I think that's great. It really is.
That sounds like a good plan.
Okay, for several years, there was a member of our forestation board who lived in the landings. I think she still does. Her name is Kathy Wallace. I will contact her and find out if they have an HOA. Okay?
Okay.
And or we can write a letter, or maybe Andrew can help us a little bit with drafting a letter to go out under forestation board letterhead.
Lee, excuse me. The
Yes,
land
sir.
have an HOA. I don't know the new president, but the treasurer is Mike Devereaux. Contact Jill in the police department and she can give you the name of the president of the HOA.
We'll do that. Thank you, John. Thanks for sitting in on our meeting too.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that.
Makes me behave a lot better too.
The next item 9, regarding vine property over there at,
We
You gotta
can't-
get your mouth out of the speaker.
sorry, the property owner 7105 Fox Harbor Road, ended up contacting me and saying that vines from a neighbor's property were killing her trees. I talked this over with Linda Knox, and then I talked with the code enforcement officer, Rick Wilson. And the consensus of those discussions was that there was no particular city ordinance that applied to this situation. I informed the property owner that she could have someone cut the vines that were bothering her trees without taking any further action.
That's good.
Good.
Frankly, she felt that was a little unfair because she had been ordered not that long ago to cut back some trees on her property because they were hazardous. And she thought, well,
She
maybe
the one that had the hemlock trees, Lee?
that's right. Exactly.
That doesn't surprise, but she says she's complaining there's vines coming over from neighboring trees to her
Yes.
property?
Yes. And they seem to be, I went and looked at it. You can see stuff climbing up from the other property. In any case, that issue seems to be resolved from our point. Okay. Next item really is a Herb item. At the last council meeting, a resident of the Overlook said that there was a story going around that trees would be cut along 42 to accommodate new lighting project and ensure lighting for the roadway. And they were concerned that this person was concerned that this light would come back in an adverse way and bother people in the Overlook. Herb, do you have any comment on this lighting? If the project is
Actually, after the council meeting, that John Simpson, who actually he's actually on the working group of the US 42 safety improvement. Now, the tree cuttings have nothing to do with anything that the working group that the mayor created. The tree cutting, there's nothing that relate to that. They're in the what the working group, what the city did. The city got a consultant to create a planning study. And in the planning study, one of the concepts was to have lighting on 42, and it would be high lighting. And but since then, the working group met, and we're not recommending that be incorporated, that element of the planning study be incorporated. So there's no way that the working groups is recommended to anybody to have highlighting industrial lighting along 42 in that area. They are talking about lighting, but to be low level lighting, just like what it'd be in other areas in the city. So
Okay. So there's no tree cutting except,
I do
we had
think
a-
somebody, I think somebody did inform some people that there was going to be tree cuttings.
well, the only tree cutting that I was previously aware of or proposed was we had some complaint, you might say, that there were hazardous trees close to 42 could fall on 42. And Andrew was checking that out with the state highway department. You have any comment on that, Andrea?
Well, they said they would take care of it. They didn't give us a
Right.
dead date, but I think they must be working along 42 and some other areas and working towards Prospect was my impression of that. So yes, they said they had looked at it and they will incorporate that into their pruning and or removals that they're doing.
Well, that would be in there right away and would be pretty
Right.
small number of trees, I'm
Right.
sure.
And there are some branches hanging very low over the street in that area when you come down the hill from Bridgepoint towards, like Harrods Creek, towards the overlook or
Yes.
whatever.
Okay, unless there's further comment of trees, we go to the next item, an entwined holly at the intersection of Fox Harbor and Gunpowder. This situation is a big holly tree there and a large branch from some other tree sticking out, actually even over the roadway a little bit.
There's actually 3 trees in there, Lee,
Okay,
more than you would think coming out of that holly. There's a birch and 2 ash trees.
what is the branch sticking out?
What is the branch sticking out?
Yeah, is that a birch or a holly or
Is
an
that the
ash?
one that when you face that area from Gunpowder you're talking about?
Well, if I'm on Fox Harbor, it would be to my left, and
Right.
it's kind of white or grayish branch.
I thought I took a picture of that. Yeah, that's a part of a white birch.
White birch. We had a recent, you might say, complaint about that being at least unsightly. Whether we should do something about it or not, any comments, please?
Has anybody else looked at it or?
Actually, I haven't. No.
I think Linda Knox did. Linda, do you have any comment?
Yeah, it is kind of a big clump of plant material that is really very awkward looking. I think if it could be thinned out and shaped up, it could still be reasonable to have planting in that area. I don't see that it's affecting visibility or creating a hazard for drivers coming from any direction, but I guess the question was also asked that, do any of our ordinances really apply to a situation of that nature? Or is there something else within the city guidelines that would be applicable? Because I think there are other people that feel that, it is very unsightly and should be addressed.
There is provision in the forestation ordinance that could be used. I can get that language if you like. Hold on.
I mean, it just looks like an area that's been not maintained for a long
Right.
time.
Like
And,
I said, if they could
you
trim it
know,
up
those
and
could have
open it
been
up.
weed trees, except for the birch. There could have been just weed trees that grew up in that area and they never were removed when they were young, you know, and now they've gotten to be big trees and kind of growing right next to that holly, which is also a huge holly tree. It's not very well shaped. It could be shaped a little better. But they don't do anything with it either.
Do you think it could be saved by trimming everything up and opening it up a little bit to kind of clean up the area?
The holly you're talking about?
Well, just the whole
I think,
area.
I mean, if it was at my house, I'd cut down the 3 trees and I'd remove the vines from the juniper shrubs that are growing at the base of the holly, if, as you view it from the gunpowder side, and probably try to leave the holly. I don't know how that holly is going to look because those other trees are growing into one side of it, but I think it would probably be okay. You know, I mean, it's just an area on a very highly visible corner that's not being maintained and it draws attention.
Yeah.
There is a section 13 in the Forestation ordinance, section titled Public Tree Care. The city shall have the right, et cetera, to prune or to remove public trees, shrubs, or plants within the lines of all streets and alleys, et cetera, which may be necessary to ensure public safety or to preserve and enhance the symmetry and beauty of such public grounds. That's the language.
Well, that's not a public ground, right?
Well, a public tree, as defined by this ordinance, it would be, yes. Hold on.
It's in the right of way, it's a public tree.
A public tree
Know what the right of way is there, so.
includes, this is section 2 of the ordinance. Public trees include street trees, park trees, and trees on other public properties. Well, this would be a street tree.
It
And
would be a street tree.
is defined as trees located within the public street right of way.
I mean, do we know for a fact that's in the public's, I'm just asking. I mean, do we know what the right of way is on Gunpowder or Fox Harbor? I mean,
I can check it with Logic Map, but
yeah, we'd have to look it up on Logic. That might be something to do, to check it first.
You want to
Yeah,
check it, Aaron? That'd be fine.
pretty much every one of those streets, you gotta have right of way or they can't do the utility work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that one branch protrudes out almost to the street or maybe even a little bit above it.
Address on now, my address of that, what that corner, that intersection is, one of the streets.
I don't have the address, no.
No, it would be on Gunpowder because that's the front door.
Yeah, I think it's
faces
a Gunpowder address, but. Do you have it, Lee, the address?
I don't have it. I'll get it for you.
It's right down the street from 7105 Fox Harbor, so it's
Yes, right.
a little bit. I'll go check it. If
Okay.
I don't think I can get back home.
Okay.
I'll check it later. Not that.
We'll leave it at that item and we go to LG&E grant project request. Linda Knox did some research on this. You want to comment on that, Linda?
Sure. We had looked at doing this as we were trying to create a plan for Cowley Park, and we're not able to address it in a timely manner. It's a fairly short window, but since that time, we've learned that they will accept applications 3 times a year. It opens and you can't even get the information until the month of application. So it was like October 1 before I could get any information about what's in the application and what we would have to do. And then it has to be submitted by the end of October, but you can also do it, say, in February. So that gives us time to identify what we want to do on the Harrods Creek Orange Trail, which has been the suggested plan, so we can work with the city and Parks and Recreation and really put together a very professional plan, because we will need drawings, we will need some verbiage to support what we're doing and what the benefits to the community are going to be. But I think knowing that we've got this larger window and we kind of know now what needs to be applied, we've got until February to pull it together and I think submit a really nice application that will get us the money we need to fund this, a share of this plan.
Is it the deadline, the end of February, Linda, or?
It would
February
open
1st?
February 1 and have to be submitted by the end of February, yes.
Mhm.
And the information said that once you submit, you normally have a response in terms of if you get an award within 2 months.
That would be convenient from a fiscal year standpoint. Would,
I mean, you would then plan to do the work in the fall though, right?
all
I don't
right.
think you're gonna
Yep,
plan
yep.
anything in the spring down there, between
And
the
that-
flooding, and everything else. Going
And
into
that-
the summer.
I was injecting that those grants require matching contribution from a city,
Right.
which could be in kind or cash, could be maintenance, which would be absolutely necessary. I discussed this with Linda Wardell, who's head of the Parks Committee. I think everybody knows Linda. And she said she would enthusiastically support a plan to remove dead trees and plant new trees along the Orange Trail.
I would point out that we would have to get some people together and go walk that
Yeah,
tree.
right,
Absolutely.
right.
But there's some trees that won't need to be replaced that are dead because they're too close to the edge of the wooded area behind the trail, the trail, the wooded section behind where the trees were planted is grown now and it's too close to the edge of the woods, basically. But
Yes.
there's certainly some that can be replaced, no doubt.
And I believe Ron has some good insight in terms of where we lost some of those trees and where the most likely flooding is going to occur when we get those conditions.
Yes,
We
Ron
also
said,
know which ones the beavers like the best.
right.
That too.
Well, Ron was saying he wouldn't support planting any trees on the creek side. He said,
No, I wouldn't either.
right, and that's where he also said that's where most of the trees that we did plant and subsequently died were located on the creek side.
Okay, well, here's a dumb question. Do we have beavers?
Yes,
Yes, there are beavers down there, yes.
Where are they?
Well, you'd have to ask Ron in particular. I don't know. But they've come up during several seasons and gnawed on those trees, especially the bald cypress, I think.
Oh, gosh.
Well, they went away for a while, but they came back.
yes. Ron told me just last week he was working actively to remove a beaver dam.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can make a coat.
We could take them over to Sutherland. There's a big waterway there.
That's right.
We're working to make a place for Canadian geese.
Well, you've got a good start on that.
Oh.
Some people may not know it, but Ron went to school on animal ridden, you might say, as a city employee
Right.
several years ago. Right. So he's a removal specialist.
Yep.
would someone like to volunteer to be the project leader for this Orange Trail project? I don't hear any names.
No, but I might suggest that we have a preliminary planning meeting to kind of get a feel for what the scope of the project's going to be. And
Yeah.
then we can figure out who has the capability and is able to support the project as we would like to have it done.
I think we
That's
need
it.
to walk it, have a meeting.
Yeah,
and walk the
see what
area.
we're really,
I tell you, maybe it's maybe who heads it up is somebody from the Parks Committee.
they need to be more, and definitely need to be involved.
That's probably a good suggestion. I'm sure somebody might be suggested by Linda Wardell. Linda, by the way, is leaving Chicago today, where her son has been in the hospital for some time,
Gee,
and returning to Louisville today.
Mm.
That's
So she should be back in town, and certainly that would be a good person to consult with. But basically, she likes the
when-
idea.
and as somebody mentioned, I think in a previous email about this subject, we've got to build in maintenance dollars to maintain these
Mhm.
trees for probably a 3-year period. Or maybe that's what they request, I can't remember, but because it's critical to keep them mulched and watered during the driest part of the summer down there. So we don't lose any more trees and get them off to a good start.
Mhm.
The information Linda found states that LG&E requires a 3-year maintenance plan.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
I thought they did. And back to one other subject, I think I checked with, while we've been in the meeting with Pascual Perez about the watering, and he says we have done 4 as of Monday, or as of last Friday.
Okay.
So 4 waterings for your budget purposes.
Good. To follow up on this Harris Creek, Linda back, which will be very soon, and ask her to try to arrange a meeting with Parks and a couple of us, anybody who wants to participate, to scout out what could be done on the Orange Trail. Okay?
Sounds good.
Yeah, real good.
All right. Next item is other or new, and Connie brought up to us the fact that a tree had been removed at 7402 Wycliffe Drive. Want to comment on that?
Well, it was a street tree.
Yes.
7402 Wycliffe, Lee?
Wycliffe, yes. Because
Yeah,
Connie sent a picture of it also, actually.
Mhm.
Good luck
Where the
pronouncing
tree
the,
used to be, right?
yeah,
I don't
good
think
luck
I got
pronouncing the owners' names.
Is it between the sidewalk and the street, Connie?
Yeah, yeah.
Was it a great big tree? I didn't see that
Oh,
email.
it wasn't a big tree. It was a smallish tree. It was, I think it was a red bud or something of that nature. Maybe even a small ginkgo. It was small,
Huh.
smallish. But there was nothing wrong with that that I could see, but you know, who knows?
Well, it's a clear violation of the ordinance to remove any street trees without written authorization from the Forestation Board. My idea is contact those people, ask them to attend our next meeting, tell them that they've done something that's a naughty, and ask them about their plans for tree replacement.
We spank them.
Something along those lines, you know?
I think that's a reasonable approach, just to make them aware, because maybe they
Yeah, I do
didn't
too.
know that they couldn't take out that tree.
Connie, do you have
They've
the,
only lived there for a couple of years now.
Connie, do you have their phone number?
Oh, let me
Could
go see
find
if
it.
I can find it.
Well, you can email it to me and I'll call them. You know?
But I don't know if I've got it.
Yeah, you may not have it, right?
I'll go check. And good luck pronouncing their last name.
Yeah, it's about 30 letters long.
Did you see where Lisa, Herb said he lost communication with the meeting?
All I see is he's still here, but no picture.
No, he just, I got a message that came up that he said that he lost communication with
He's,
the meeting.
he's totally lost it. Okay.
Yeah, so he's not here right now.
Connie's checking for the phone number.
Okay, I got it.
Just email it to me, Connie.
Oh, okay.
And I'll try to call them.
Okay.
All right. Is there any other tree subject people want to discuss at this meeting?
I don't have anything.
Mm-mm.
I have a question about Arborfest.
Yes.
It's on the 29th, correct?
Mhm.
The last Saturday in October,
What time?
10 to noon. It's just 2 hours.
Okay,
Make
I'm
it-
going to send an email to our HOA president to do like an announcement or a blast
Yeah,
to the
Very
group.
good.
Do we have a list of the trees that will be available so I can add that?
Yeah,
we-
it was
Yeah.
sent out to everybody. We can send it to you again.
We're gonna ask that the city do another email blast, and I can send you that list. That's been
Okay,
updated.
yeah. Okay. All right.
Linda, are
Thank
you
you.
gonna ask Ron to send out another blast?
Yes.
That would be very good. Okay. And that's good for Sylvia to let Bridgepoint people know. It's amazing, actually, what people don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. Most people aren't aware of these events. They're not aware there's a forestation board. And I have talked to some very recently who don't even know the name of the mayor. Mhm.
Hmm.
That's
Oh,
Or
my.
that we even have a mayor. Hey, that's good, Sylvia. And then that leads to the last item, which is the next date. That happens to be election day, November 8th.
We don't normally drink at the Forestation. Like,
Herb, you're back on. That's great. Does anybody have a problem with the meeting on November 8th?
I think as long
me.
as we know.
I
to
think
vote-
I think I have a hearing on that day.
Okay, do we want to change it?
Well, for that week alone, do we want to make it either the 7th or the 9th?
I
Just
can't
that
do
week,
the 7th.
the 9th? Actually, you know what? It doesn't matter. Please do what works for most. I'll breeze in and out as I can.
Let's see if we have a quorum and then we'll know whether we need to change it.
I will be honest. I know it's not fitting for me, but I was saying that word. But actually, I tutor at the same time on Tuesdays. So if it did get moved, it would be okay with me. If it got moved to Wednesday, the 9th.
I think the most sensitive schedule besides Sylvia's is Andrea's.
Oh, that's true.
You're talking about Tuesday, the 9th, and Wednesday, the 9th, I'm
Wednesday.
sorry.
Yeah.
Right?
Wednesday,
Yeah, I could probably
Wednesday.
do that at 2 in the afternoon. I couldn't do the morning.
Okay.
Do you want to change it, Lee, or do you have a quorum for the 9th then, or?
I'm checking my own calendar just a minute. I'm okay on the 9th. Herb is okay on the 9th. How about Connie?
I am.
I am.
And Linda, good, and probably Sylvia can make it then.
I believe so.
Okay, so let's plan it for Wednesday, the 9th at 2 p.m. by Zoom.
Okay,
Great.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, we can have a motion to adjourn. Any other comments, questions, issues?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second,
all in favor, aye, and thanks again to
Aye.
Bob Gibson.
I.
I.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank
thank
you.
you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.